appreciate the time. So we're going to use every minute to make sure that we gain maximum value from this. So in our Pulse program that we've been utilizing, with the last 2 weeks, we went through your playbook that's in the Jason Abrams playbook on this amazing tool that is not a new tool by any means, right? Which is golden letters, but this amazing tool that you decided to utilize at a very high level, and you're having massive success. So I'd love to hear about, first question, can you explain what it is in your A to Z process of the golden letter?
Yes. So, and what I'll say to backtrack is I wish I could say it's my first year in real estate. It's my first year full time. So, and I say that because there's been a lot of practice, and don't look at me and say, I could never do that. He's very skilled, blah, blah, blah. This took me a long time, and I continue to practice every single day. And that's the biggest part of the letter. So the system is super simple. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate the warm intro. The process is so simple, and I didn't invent it. I joke with people, I'm just the one that was dumb enough to just do it and not change a thing, and literally just stick to it and continue doing the same thing like a crazy person. So it's a simple MOFR, make offer for immediate response. I'm picking places I want listings. I'm putting the list together. I'm putting the letters together. I'm sending them out. Calls are coming in. I'm converting the business, setting a listing appointment, and selling the listing. Simple as that. I have a course that I have put together. It's 8 modules, and it's maybe 45 minutes in content. Like, it is not groundbreaking. It's very simple.
I love it. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? At times is we overcomplicate something that should be simple, or we just don't do it, right?
Right.
What I guess one of the questions I had, and I know it's not on my list, but what was the thing that just said, I'm going this route? You just jumped in. Was because you could have been like, I'm going to go with YouTube. I'm going to go with internet leads. You're like, hey, to get listings, I'm going to go. Did someone teach it to you? Like, where did it come from?
Yeah. So last year, I finished my college semester in like May. And I was on a team. I was working part time. My first year in real estate, I made $115,000. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Second year, the market starts to change. I'm like, I am going to fail school. I need to just focus. So I focused on my schoolwork, no real estate until May. After May, I said, I'm never going back to school. I'm putting my head down and I'm going to work. College was not for me. And with that, if I wanted to have a business that was sustainable, I wanted listings. I'm not an extrovert. My disc profile is CD. I couldn't care less about little Johnny's baseball tournament. I don't like driving people around. It's just me, and I'm being totally honest and authentic. Not that I don't care. I just am not wired to love on people, is the truth. So I needed to find a way to take listings without a database, without a sphere of influence. I was right out of high school. I was not I wasn't the mayor of the town, and I didn't have support. My parents don't live in the area, and I knew nobody. So how do I get listings without knowing anybody and not paying money for internet leads? So I did research, and I came across a MAPS coaching video with Gene Arant talking about the golden letter. And I said, that works. I was calling expireds and for sale by owners in a TCPA compliant manner, of course. And I was doing everything under the sun. And then I found golden letters, and I'm like, let's do this. And I stuck with it, and I did them all myself. I remember I sent out 300, and I took 3 listings right away. And I'm like, bang, let's forget everything else and make this my one thing. And that has been my one thing since. So much so, last year was a partial year. I was a solo agent. I had no idea what I was doing. I still did 15 million in business half of the year last year. Went in head first this year. My MAPS coach identified, here are the 3 strategies you're going to do. Golden letters is the main one for listings. Kept my head down, and that's resulted in 35 listings taken and over $1.1 million in GCI. Mainly, the listing business is all golden letters. That's the story.
Wow. Well, we are blown away. So first of all, again, I think everyone hearing this, what I love is again, you're in college thinking about this, right? So you also had all of this other work on the plate or on your plate and still able to accomplish this. So kudos to you. Second question, because we want to use every minute as much as we can. What tech or leverage do you have in place to assist you in converting golden letters into conversations, appointments set, and eventually listing agreements? So Do you have a virtual assistant? Do you have a dedicated phone line? Is there like a custom voicemail? Is there any tech that you're using that supports this mission?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a common misconception that I have this big team. Somebody sent me a screenshot and they were like, Will's great, but don't think you could do it too because he has a big team and he has a big database. I've got nothing and I started with nothing. I was hand addressing, envelopes in my market center. I didn't even pay for an office. I had no money. Now I have leverage, and leverage has totally changed my life and it's changed everything. I have a part-time VA that will help me pull lists, but we'll just say in the beginning and make it relatable to all agents, I pull my own lists. I tell my VA now how to do that and where to do it, but I pull my own lists and I use a free program through the MLS to do that. I can print my own mailing labels using the Office printer. I use KW Command to follow up with people. The only piece of technology that I use and pay for, it's $45 a month, and it's a call program. And I can share the link out to it so you guys can all check it out. But it's $45 a month. It is not my cell phone number. It goes right to voicemail. And it's my regular Keller Williams Realty voicemail that says, hey, I'm not available. I'll call you back soon. It sends me an email transcription. Nowadays, my VA helps me kind of go through that and sorts them. But before, I was just calling them all back, and I still make all the calls myself. So we're talking now at a leveraged point where I have that in my business. I'm only spending $45 a month. That's the only piece of tech.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And for some of us, I think we kind of went really quick on this, but people don't really necessarily know what a golden letter is. I think we were assuming there for a lot of people. I'm gonna share just a little bit, I think, to make sure that people understand. And I created this, right? So, like, obviously, with this golden letter book, right? What we found was fascinating about this, Will, is number one is obviously being featured in this nationally syndicated playbook was pretty amazing. But number two was the simplicity of it. So basically, you're drafting a letter that just says, I have a buyer looking in your neighborhood. Would you like to sell? If so, give me a call.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it, right?
Would you sell your house to a client of mine at 123 Main
Yeah.
Street? If so, call me on
Yep.
my cell phone.
And,
That's it.
and we'll put out the draft to everyone, of course, in the office. And well, you can't maybe see our training room, but there's about another 70 people sitting in that room watching this. And so, and then we have all the people online. Yeah. So sorry, I know you can only see the one corner of the one desk because our tech is a little wonky today. But so there's a lot of people that just not sure how to leverage this tool. So we send a letter. So when you're talking about pulling lists, you're going, I'm going to pick a neighborhood. I pull a list. I clean that list or wash that list. So, again, you're using your dollars the best way. Then there's some special kind of sauce here, right? Like you do a hand you sign each one of them. Is that correct? So like, what's the secret sauce? I can just draft a letter, but is there some secret sauce that we need to know?
Oh, wow. That's a great turnout. I was like, oh, even
it's all for you, buddy. They're here for you. They don't care about me. I can tell you that. Yeah. They're here for you.
That's awesome. So just to break it down, I'm pulling lists and I will literally get phone calls at like 8 o'clock at night from unknown numbers, and I'll answer it and be like, hey, Will, I saw you on stage. Where do you send your letters to? It's the funniest thing. And where do I send them? It's where I want listings. It's as simple as that. If I want to hit a condo association because I want listings in there, I'm going to do it. If I want a lakefront listing, I'm going to pick an area. And scrubbing the list, I am scrubbing it, or the VA nowadays is sorting it so we're not sending it to land. Or a big thing is assessed values over a certain point. I'm not sending them to mobile homes or distressed property unless I'm targeting that. But honestly, I'm not looking for agents. I could care less. I don't care if they're listed because there's a solicitation thing on the bottom of the letter. Obviously, I don't want to do it on purpose, but I'm not doing these things that are obsessive to a lot of agents and will slow you down. So I'm pulling the list. We're doing a mail merge and the letter's the same. The only two elements that change are the owner's first name and their property address. It's all typed out, black and white. There's not a picture of me on there. There's not a Keller Williams luxury logo on there. There's not a wax stamp on there. It's the same. It's black and white, and that's why it works. By a show of hands, how many of you would want to change the letter? Everybody's hand would go up when I asked that teaching in person. Everybody wants to change it, and you do not change the letter. What you do is you hand sign the bottom. My signature looks like a 2-year-old does it. I mean, I scribbled WVW on there, and I actually have somebody who signs them for me now. And then we put them in an envelope with no return address, and that is it. There's nothing
Why no return address, Will?
I don't want them back. Because the U.S. Postal Service, they'll send them, and sometimes people's mailbox isn't there. They would mail them back to me. Do not send, or people will write back mean things. It's like, you know what? It's less money, it's less work administratively, and it's one less thing to do. And it doesn't matter. If you think about the psychology of getting a letter with an address on it with no return address, you're like, what? If I saw Keller Williams Realty, I'd be like, trash.
Right. Right. I love that. Yeah. And we talked about this during our session. And we also said, especially if maybe your office location isn't near where you have a buyer for, because, yeah, then they're going to think, hey, well, this person couldn't possibly know my neighborhood, whatever it might be. So I love that. If your buyer that you're doing this letter for goes under contract. Now, I tried to explain this in the session, right? So people are like really locked into like the real buyer. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But let's just say that you have a real buyer. Yeah. Yeah. You've heard this, right? If your buyer goes under contract on the property before they're able to see the home that the golden letter went to. So framework this for people, right? You're drafting this letter, and then your buyer doesn't like the house. The buyer doesn't exist. The buyer, whatever. When the seller calls you and goes, hey, bring your buyer over, I'd love to make a deal. What happens?
Yeah, the psychology, everybody gets so worked up around that. And it's like, what? I do the 80-20 principle. Like, I just focus on what matters, and that doesn't matter. That's how you set the appointment. And people are like, oh, it's unethical, or oh, it's lying. I can find a buyer, and I've done it before. And a great example, one time I found an off-market short sale property. She didn't want to go on the market. I said, okay, sign this listing agreement. I made 2 phone calls. The buyer was a licensed Keller Williams agent. I brought them the deal, and I repped both sides. There are probably thousands of active brokerage buying agreements in your office. Finding a buyer is not the hard part. I rarely actually have a buyer. However, buyers are out there. So it's great if you have buyers in that area, but don't go into it thinking, oh, I have a buyer. I want to bring a buyer to that house. Get the agreement signed. So it's very simple. People will call, and the objection is, do you really have a buyer? You know, I'll say, oh, thanks so much for calling. Got your letter, blah, blah, blah. Do you really have a buyer? You know, Brandon, between me and my buyer agent, or between me and my team or office, we're working with 24 different buyer families right now, and they all are highly motivated, qualified, and looking to make a purchase. And as I'm sure you know, there's no inventory on the market. Or if you have a lot of inventory, nothing on the market matches their criteria. So instead of just sitting back and waiting, we're reaching out to homeowners and the places they want to be and seeing who might be interested in having a conversation about selling their home. Is that something you've ever thought about? And they'll say, yes, no, or, well, if you have a buyer, come by, I'll pay you X%. And no matter the response, if it's no, well, great. It sounds like you're really comfortable, which I totally appreciate. Do you have any other property that you would sell? Do you know any neighbors that want to sell? And if not, what's your email? I'd love to stay in touch. If they say yes, well, that's great. I really value your time. And instead of running a bunch of people through your house, I'd love to come by, see the house, do some due diligence for the folks I'm working with, and also provide you with a real-time market valuation that the algorithms can't even keep up with. Would 2 o'clock today or 3 o'clock tomorrow be better?
Woo. Give him a hand. That was straight fire. That's fire, right? And hopefully, Will, is this in the course that you're going to make available for sale? Those scripts? Okay,
oh, it's
I'm buying
all in
that
there.
just for that. I love it.
I have a free agent Facebook group. So I'm all about giving value to people. We do live calls all the time, and I'll help critique people, and I'm always willing to help. But the script is, or the conversation is so simple. And when I started real estate full-time, no college last in May, I committed to daily conversations practice for 1 hour a day for the entire year. And I actually remember watching some of your script off videos. I'll sit here, and I swear to God, it inspired me. And I'm like, I want to be like you. And well, you don't do that just from watching.
And now we're full circle, right? And now we're full circle. So, so what is your follow-up after you send the letter? So you send the letter, and sometimes I'm sure you're going to get more calls than other times. No one calls back. What happens if no one calls? Is there any other different? People ask me, do you send the letter to the same area over and over again? Do you call it? Do you door knock it? What do you do if the letter goes out and you maybe don't get as much response as you were hoping for?
Yeah, that's a great question. The key is actually understanding your market. So I'm not sending another letter until January. I stopped Thanksgiving and we're going to hit January hard because I know Maine's a seasonal market. We're not going to get the listings and the calls. And I'm cheap. I like money. I want high return on investment. For every 300 I send, I should get a call back. You need to understand what that looks like in your market. But I know my market well enough to know, hey, I'm not going to send during major holidays. And right after around Halloween, it's not worth sending. If they don't call you, they are pre-qualifying themselves. That's the beauty of the system. They're not going to call you if they don't want to have a conversation. I'm not going to call them. And honestly, this was a big way for me to get people to call me in a TCPA compliant manner. It gets rid of the do not call list issue because they're opting into reaching out to me. So I'm not going to go and talk to people that don't have any interest. Maybe some slip through the cracks, but this is pre-qualifying them. If they reach out and they're not ready, I set the intention for, great, well, when should we talk next? Let me put it in my calendar. Is it the 26th of December at 4 p.m.? Great, I'm going to call you then. Mirror and match. It is not rocket science. Set the next appointment every single time and stay on people. I set people up on a market report and then I put them in my database and I stay on them. I follow up and stay in touch. Some slip through the cracks. However, some always will. You just need to match their demeanor and everything and see when they're ready. And they'll tell you when they're ready. And I mail the same addresses every 6 to 8 months. That short sale property that I represented both sides on, I mailed her one time. 8 months later, I remailed it, not even thinking about it. And she called that time. It just shows you the timing has to be right for them. It's not all about us. You'll get solicitations from like Anderson Windows every single month about replacement windows. They know what they're doing. And 1 month, you're going to need new windows. You're probably going to call them, right?
Absolutely. I mean, so that was just a masterclass. So that last piece there, I mean, for everyone. So, so Will, the other thing is you're 22, correct? 22?
Yep.
Okay, so you're 22. You walk into a listing appointment in Maine, and when we talk about Maine, your population 12,000, right, or something like that.
That's the town, but I mean, there's more trees than people here.
More trees than people. So you walk in, I'm 55, 60 years old, and I go, Will, you're 22. You're here to sell my house. How'd you get past that?
It was really challenging. And it took time and it took me putting my reps in. You don't just go to the gym and you're confident about bench pressing or doing pull-ups. You've got to go and put your 10,000 hours in. And I can confidently say I was a shy kid. I was like afraid of my own shadow when I got in this business. I am fearless now. I do not care the outcome and I've detached from it. If I make a sale, great. If not, my life doesn't change. I'm here to help people. And it's getting in that abundance mindset of you can always get more business. And to get people to work with you, I had to believe that I was the best agent in the market. And there's no ego attached to it. I just know my skill is there and I can help people. And I believe I can help them more than any other agent in the marketplace. And that was through practice, shadowing, and putting reps in. So an hour of practice every single day. I shadowed an appointment 1 time a day for the first year I was in this business. I listened to Diana Kokoska Bold CD in my car going to the office. People think I'm crazy. And you know what? Tony DeCello said, Will, you're the craziest person in Maine, and that's something to be proud of. I obsess over being the best. Mediocrity scares me. And now I go into a listing appointment, and it's not in a cocky way. There's zero ego attached to it. I know I already have the listing when I'm pulling up in the driveway. And that's the confidence you need to exude so sellers want to work with you. And I talk in presuppositions. I know what to say, when to say it. And it's a simple process. And you know what? Not everyone's going to work with me. And that's totally fine. I'm going to go find more people that want to work with me and value my service. So it's 98% mindset and skill.
I got to do it, Anna. My goodness. Just dropping fire, Anna. Fire nuggets. My goodness. Well, I wish we could spend all day with you. And so first of all, tell us where we can find the course. So is it available now?
It's available, and not even just the course. I'm not here just to sell people on things. Go to willsellsmaine.com and I have an agent tab. The password is 2023. I've got a free Facebook group on there. I've got free resources. I've got the MREA one pager. You can join my referral network. I want to help people because I have gotten so much help and this company has changed my life. And I'm here just to contribute back. So willsellsmaine.com. You'll see agents on the right, password 2023. Simple as that. If anybody needs anything, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont expanding to, reach out. Happy to put you in touch with the right person if it's not me. And always happy to help out. If you have any questions about the letter, Facebook Messenger or email's best. My phone is chaos dealing with servicing business. So I would just ask to respect that. But anything you need, reach out, check out the website, and greatly appreciate you having me on here.
No, and if you can stay on for just a second.
Yeah.
So we also want to provide value to Will besides, of course, getting this course, which I'm going to do. But yeah, if we can follow him on Instagram, this goes directly to Will's Instagram, directly to his Facebook group. And of course, Will, if we ever have a referral for the Maine area, of course, we're going to, send it your way. So I want to open it up to just at least one question, Anna, from the audience, if that's okay. Will, do you have like 2 more minutes?
I've got plenty of time, as much time as you want to give.
All right, so just 2 more minutes. So let me open it up to the audience. And Greg, you might be able to help me because I can't be in both rooms at the same time. But what do we have? What's a question for Will from the audience that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, so I'll jump in from the virtual audience. One of the questions we had now, Will, in full speed, how many letters are you sending per month, and how many areas are you currently targeting?
Yeah, so per month, I'm throttling it back because I have the business that I desire and I have a very clear business plan and I have such control over what I do. You'll see I took 13 listings in the month of June. I wanted to get ahead of the work so I could enjoy life. And 13 listings taken. I closed 14 properties last month. It's all controlled. So if I want to take 15 listings, 300 times 15, and then I add about 15 to 20% over because I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. So some months I might send 10,000, some months I might send 500. However, I'm always sending because I want to keep my skills sharp. That's it. You can never have too many listings. So,
and then just so everyone knows, yeah, we were talking about this, Will. The conversion is 300 letters usually produce you 6 listing conversations, meaning 6 people call you in some form or fashion, and that usually converts to 1 listing taken per 300. So that's what he's saying, everyone, when he's saying, if I want to take 15 listings, I'm going to multiply that times 300, plus maybe a little bit more, maybe 350 to make sure he nails that number. And that's what he's doing, right? And so I just want to make sure that was really clear. And then, Anne, I think there was any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, so I think people really just want a template off of your success, Will. So you talked about you doing role play or sales conversations practice an hour a day. You're listening to things that feed your mind. So walk us through, what's your lead gen schedule? How do you make sure that you're getting in that lead gen and then also being able to service your clients in the afternoons? Just walk us through your calendar.
Yeah, so my calendar, I'll be honest with you, I've found what works for me. And that is I service business really well, and I'm not a great lead generation athlete where I'm not doing 9 a.m. to 11. I instead, working with my coach, big believer in coaching, I have an appointments goal. I need to sign a listing every other week, non-negotiable, and I will literally work until 3 a.m. looking for listings if I have to do that. So I'm very systematized, and I just know if I want to sell 70 units, this is how many this week, and I break it down. So whether that's 6 hours one day and none the rest of the week, I look at my week every single Sunday night, and I just plan. If I need to hit that goal, I'm going to work a ton maybe one day, and I'm a solo agent. So unfortunately, I can't lead generate every single morning, and that's fine, but I'm always making contacts, minimum 10 a day. And how many appointments am I setting? During Bold, I was not a great Bold student because I didn't make 20 contacts a day, but one Bold class, I made 6 contacts and I took 4 listings. So for me, it's an appointment sport. And as long as I'm loving on my past clients and Sphere, that's great, but I'm always focused on the appointment. That's it.
All right. Well, we have to go. I'm so sorry. I wish we could stay on here for more time. So we'll make sure we get you those likes on Facebook. We're going to check out the website. We're going to get the course. We're going to send our referrals to Maine. We can't thank you. Everyone in the audience, can we please give him a loud applause? Thank you very much. It's much louder when the mic's working, but it's okay, right? So just think that that was really here. I'll hook you up, right? I'll get you. There you go. Right, you're all set. So thanks,
This is the best
Will.
market center call I've ever done. This is awesome.
Thank you. That's kind. And we hope you have a fantastic holiday, and thank you for your time. Take care.
Yeah,
buddy.
and I'll see you guys at family reunion. Have a good one.
See you at family reunion. See ya.